All right, let's get into it. This is my camera bag. This is the DJI Tech One Mo 2 35 liters. It's too big and I wouldn't recommend to take it as a daily carrier. I basically never use it to go in the city. I just use it to go on a bigger trip or on a longer trip or somewhere where I need to bring more equipment. For my daily carrier, I use this Patagonia. It doesn't scream I'm a photographer, and it fits a lot of equipment in it. And if I have to carry a little bit more equipment, I just use one of these cubes. Fit 2 bodies, 1 or 2 lenses, microphone, even a drone. All right, let's talk cameras. Main camera, Fujifilm X-H2S. This is the main camera that I use. It's not perfect. It has the autofocus issues that Fujifilm has, but other than that, especially if you're a filmmaker that shoots manual a lot, I think you can get a lot out of this camera. 6.2K, open gate, colors look amazing. Even the F-Log 2, F-Log 2C is amazing for color grading if you're a colorist. I use it mainly to shoot my YouTube videos. Right now I'm actually shooting this video on the Sony a7C II. It's just a test. We'll see. Maybe I'll switch, maybe I won't. But as a video camera, especially for this kind of talking head videos, after the latest update especially, because before the update in December, I wouldn't say it sucked, but it still needed some work, right? But now for talking head like this, great. Full HDMI port for the people who are interested, battery that lasts forever, and ergonomics are really good. I really enjoy it. This right here is my second camera, Fujifilm X-T4. Good old X-T4. This is the camera that I took with me to Ukraine when I shot a little documentary that I've never released, but there are videos on the channel about it, so feel free. And this was the camera that I used a lot for my professional business. This together with the X-T3 that I sold, but the fact that at that point it had a flip out screen and I could use it to vlog, I could use it to shoot content for clients, made a lot of sense. The autofocus was not the best, but again, Fujifilm is not renowned for its autofocus. This is a very retro looking camera, which is the thing that people love the most about it, I suppose. That and the colors. I still like the fact that this camera has a physical autofocus and manual switch. And I really love the fact that you have the dials here. It's manually, really tactile and everything. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it gets in the way if you're doing a professional job, if you're working on a set or something like that. Sometimes I feel like, having to do this can be a little waste of time. But if you're doing street photography and if you're doing it for, for yourself, I don't know, it's just another feeling. I think this has a special place in my heart because it's one of those cameras that I don't know, I feel like I started with. To this day, I'm nostalgic about the X-T3 that I sold. I think I'm gonna sell this as well, but in my heart, I wish I had this like forever. And this is the last camera that I own and is the most loved camera on the internet. People say that TikTok made the series of this camera famous, but I don't really believe so. In any case, my third and last camera is the Fujifilm X100VI. I really wanted to have the X100V and I never got to have it. I bought an X100F instead because I couldn't find it and it was too expensive. So I promised myself that I would buy the X100VI whenever that came out, and as soon as it came out, I placed a pre-order. That didn't come through, so I bought this used from a shop in Italy. This was the copy that they had exhibited in the shop, and people used it beforehand, but I got it with like 500 shots on it, and I'm super happy about it. It's my favorite camera, and I use it so much, and I take so many photos with it that at some point I kind of stopped taking photos because I was taking too many, and I couldn't edit all of it and I couldn't organize it, and it would become a mess and I would get anxiety. All right, let's talk lenses. 16 to 55, dare I say, my very first professional lens, the very first red badge lens from Fujifilm I've ever had. It did its job so far perfectly. incredible lens, really good image quality. The only con of this lens is the fact that it weighs a lot. It's very heavy, and when you put it on a gimbal, then it will really weigh you down. And I very often shoot with the gimbal in one hand and the camera in the other hand, so I will just hold the gimbal with one hand basically, and it's quite difficult to just go around with that in your hand all day long. Other than that, this is a multi-tool. You can do everything with it, from street photography to portraiture to shoot video. This is my main lens for video until now. So here's the thing, I find myself very often using this lens at around 23 millimeters, which is a 35 millimeters in full frame. I also own a 23 millimeter lens. This is the 23 millimeters WR-LM f1.4 lens from Fujifilm. That's a long ass name. And as I was saying, I often find myself using this zoom lens, this 16-55 at around 23, whenever I shoot, you know, like talking head, or whenever I have to do a top-down shot of a lens or of anything. Kind of find myself around 21, 23, 25, something like that. I don't get too close to 30, I don't get too close to 16 or 18. Therefore, I thought to myself, well, this lens weighs a lot, bro. Why not get something lighter, more compact, something that you can, it doesn't feel like a piece of, what's a very heavy thing? I decided to go with this. Sigma 10-18. I tried this lens the first time during an event, and I was surprised by the size of it. I didn't think it would be that good, so I didn't really bother in the beginning. I thought it wouldn't beat the quality of the 16-55, and you know, I didn't think it would be like, you know, with the weather sealing, it's not completely weather sealed and blah blah blah. But with time, a year later, I was like, oh my god, the 16-55 is so heavy. And so this is when I thought about the 10-18. I watched a bunch of videos about it, and everybody seems to really like it. I've had this for less than a week, so I'm still testing it out, but so far I really like it. I find it really difficult to get used to the focal length at 10 because it's so wide. I've never owned or used any like super wide fisheye lenses. That's a thing that I need to get used to, but that's mostly in photo. In video, I think it does a pretty good job. I've shot some video, I've did a little bit of like vlog test around the area where I live, and it has very little distortion on the sides, even at 10 millimeters. I mean, you can see it's like a little bit, you know, but it's not very wobbly. Like, it's not like the Canon R5 wobbly, where it's like everything around it, you know, it's moving like a jello. I guess that's also the IBIS from the X-H2S that helps a lot. But yeah, this lens, it's really small, really nice. It doesn't have an aperture ring, which for some people that shoot Fuji is a con, but at this point I don't really care. I like it, I'll test it, and I'll share with you more info. 23mm f1.4. This is the focal length that I love to hate, because it's a focal length that I don't know, I never really liked. I liked from the very beginning 50mm, which in Fujifilm is 33-35mm. 23 is a 35 full frame, and I always was like, no, this is boring. But in practicality terms, this is a focal length and the lens that I kind of use a lot. I bought this because I wanted to test something different than the 35 aka 50 full frame, and to my surprise I ended up using it a lot. It's a very good lens, very reliable in both video and photo. In autofocus terms, I think this is the best lens for myself in video. The 16-55 as well, I think they're like very close, but it's very good. Image quality amazing, and it's quite light and pretty compact. I mean, it's not as compact as the 23mm f2, but you know, I wouldn't say it bothers me whenever I use this. Going forwards, you would say that this is more or less the same lens, but actually this is the 33mm f1.4. Just like with the 23 millimeters, this lens is amazing. The focal length is one of my favorites because you can shoot both street and portraiture. So if you get close enough with this one, you don't get that distortion around the face, and people just look good on 15 millimeters full frame. With this one, I get all the people to look amazing, and I can also shoot more environmental stuff. Sometimes I do feel that I need more space. That's when the 23 comes in handy. But with this lens, bro, I can make anybody look fucking dope. And when I use them together in combo during events, it's just great. So this one, environmental shots, you know, more video, and you get a little bit of the scene. And this one, you go for details, you go for portraits, you know, go for more close up. Okay, so now last but not least, my very last lens, the Viltrox 75 millimeters f1.2 Pro. This is a beast of a lens, a behemoth of a lens. Look, so fucking big, right? And it delivers 100%. The image is really sharp. It gives that 3D pop of the person, and it just makes 99.9% of people look good. Just take this and you're good for portraiture, or, you know, to make somebody look really nice. It separates the subject from the background really easily, and really in a way that makes everything pop. And it's an expensive lens, yes, but 100% worth. It's actually less expensive than the 23 and 33 from Fuji. Viltrox have been making really good lenses in the Pro series that are not that expensive. I mean, they do cost this, I think it's around 500 something euros, but it's really good. The only, I mean, it's expected to be very heavy because it's a 1.2 lens, so there's a lot of glass in it, but other than that, it delivers. Like, it's worth every single penny spent on it. I'm interested in the 27 millimeters from Viltrox, the same Pro series, to see how it looks. I do own already too many lenses, but I would be interested in that as well. 100% recommend this. Oh, and last, very last but not least, I have this little gem. Look how tiny this is. This is the Fujinon 27 millimeters pancake lens. I got this from a dude on Instagram. I actually follow him on YouTube as well, and he was selling it for like 200 bucks, and I was like, it's a bargain, let's go for it. I've seen good reviews about it, and I've also seen that people couldn't find it anymore online, so I was like, it's a steal, let's go for it. It's so light, it's so compact that you can transform the Fujifilm X-T4 or Fujifilm X-T5 or even the X-H2S into a almost pocketable camera. If you have like a fanny pack, it will fit perfectly. The image quality is good. I wouldn't say it's like the best compared to the 23 and the 33 and the more premium lenses, but it's perfect for street photography and even for events, even for professional use. I think this would make a very good lens. The only con that I see is the really noisy and really slow autofocus. Look at how small it is, you know? And it is so small, but they still managed to put an aperture ring in it, so I don't know, it's incredible just because of that. But yeah, overall, really good lens. 100% recommend if you can find it. Even if it's not your favorite focal length, sometimes you just want to grab your camera and go out and you don't want to carry a big lens with you, so this comes in handy 100%. Let's go into action cams. I have the Insta360 Ace Pro. I don't recommend getting this camera. I don't know, I was disappointed with it. I still use it, but the focusing distance It's something that I don't like. I think Insta360 kind of avoided saying that the camera doesn't focus very close, and they said it's like 40 centimeters, but from my tests it's more like 60, and I've tested it, and there's a YouTube video about it on the channel. You can check it out. Yeah, if you just use it for like more like action shots, let's say you just mount it on like a car, bike, whatever, and just want to have, you know, the stuff around. If you just want to film what's happening and you don't have to, you know, get it close to a subject or anything like that, then I suppose it's good. But they advertise this as a vlogging camera because it's got the flip up screen. They also say you cannot remove the lens protector, but you actually can. And I don't know, it's been a little bit shady. Everything has been a little bit shady about this camera, so not 100% convinced by it. I still have it, I still use it. Probably I'm gonna sell it because I haven't been using it as much as I thought I would. But it's a good to have whenever you do action shots for clients or behind the scenes. You just place it somewhere, forget about it, and then you grab it and you use it. But yeah, maybe the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, because I heard that they solved the issue with the focusing distance. Now it's better. I don't know. Moving on, Insta360 X4. Now this Insta360 camera, this I really like, is the most fun camera to use. You just get the craziest angles, craziest shots with it. It's an incredible behind the scenes camera. You can mount it on your photography camera, you can mount it anywhere, everywhere, and you'll always get something. And the thing is that you don't even need to think about framing. It just shoots everything. You can reframe that in post. But for me, it's a big issue, and sometimes I avoid using it. The workflow is something that I don't really enjoy. I mean, to shoot something, if you shoot something and you just post it immediately on social media, you just use the app, which is like okay, it's just for fast stuff, nice. But if you shoot something more detailed and if you need it for a YouTube video or for a client or something like that, and you have to edit the footage, then it becomes a pain in the ass, because either you use Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, and there's a plugin and you can edit the footage inside DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro, but I feel like it takes a long time to actually reframe and do everything with the plugins. But if you use the Insta360 Studio app on the PC or Mac, it's easier, but at the same time you have to edit it in an app, export the footage, import it in the other app in your video editor, and then you know you can go on. And sometimes whenever I have a lot of footage, I kind of get bored of editing first in the Insta360 and then exporting and then put it in the editor and blah blah blah. It's a very good choice if you're doing content creation for clients and even for yourself. But keep in mind this workflow that you have to go through each time, and the file size on this bad boy. Whew, it's like one day of shooting with this, you can even get like hundreds of gigabytes from something that's more or less an action camera. Well, it is an action camera. And last but not least, I think it's my favorite camera lately, is the one that I bought recently, and I've been using it constantly to create content for myself, mostly for myself. The Ray-Ban Meta glasses. So they're kind of dirty, but I use these glasses to shoot behind the scenes content, especially for my portraiture project, where I ask people on the street to let me take a portrait, you know, and ask a few questions and stuff like that. They've come in handy a lot of times, because before I used to use the Insta360 attached to my camera, and as I said, the workflow for that sometimes becomes a little too much and I wouldn't want to edit. But with this, I just, you know, export it to the phone and send it to the computer, and I'm like, you know, it's good to go. I don't even color grade, I don't even do anything, I just put it like that. For Instagram, it works perfectly. Even if you export it on the phone and then just post it, I think it looks great. I don't like the fact that they advertise that you can live stream with them and it looks good. And I'm not even complaining about the image quality when live streaming. I'm complaining that it's always choppy. So it's not smooth. Even with the 5G connection, it will still be choppy. So when you switch to the phone, it's really smooth, really good looking, really nice. And when you switch to the glasses, it's like, I don't know. So I wanted to live stream a lot on Instagram with them, but yeah, you cannot really do it because people would complain. I mean, people would say, "Oh, what's happening? Is everything okay with the connection?" And I even like removed all my other Bluetooth devices that were connected to the phone. So it was only with the glasses, and it's still nothing. We're almost done. Let's talk audio. I have the DJI Mic 2 right here. Got this like a week ago. I'm enjoying it so far. I've had a little issue in the beginning. Basically what happened is that it would record only one channel. Even if I was shooting stereo, mono, anything, it would record either one channel or wouldn't record at all unless I plug the jack cable in the headphone jack instead of the microphone jack in the receiver, which I find really crazy. And I've read a thread on Reddit that they still haven't fixed it. So as you can see, now I'm recording with the iPhone, and it's here, it's plugged in the headphone jack, and it works. But if I unplug it, okay, so here is the audio test. I am unplugging it, the headphone, and I'm plugging it in like the normal output jack, right? And I only get one of the two channels. The other one I think is very low. But then if I unplug it and then I plug it in the headphone jack, now see, we're getting both of them. I am shooting with the safety channel on, so one of them is louder, the other one is less loud. And I also have the Rode Wireless Go 2, which was my main microphone before, and I had to buy the DJI Mic 2 for a future project that I would be working on, and I needed an extra set of mics. So no, I got more than one set, which is always useful. It comes in handy. I like the Wireless Go 2, but it just doesn't have the 32-bit float, which allows you for more flexibility and more, let's say, fuck-ups, backups, whatever you want to call them. But overall, I've never had an issue with them. I'm not a big audio guy. I know that audio is sometimes more important than video, but I just plug the microphone in and I expect it to work. That's how I work. Even with these videos, I will learn at some point, but for the moment, it is what it is. Okay, so the last piece of equipment in my camera bag is the DJI RS3 Mini. I have a love-hate relationship with this because I bought it twice. First time it didn't work, it would vibrate and blah blah blah. I bought it the second time and I've not used it as much as I thought I would, but lately I haven't been shooting events where I need a gimbal. When I used it last time, for some reason it would not remain balanced, or something would happen and it would start shaking and the camera would go all around, and I was scared that it would destroy my lens because sometimes it would hit like the metal here, and I don't know what to think about it. I think in theory it's a really good piece of equipment. I've seen people balancing huge setups on this gimbal, but whenever I would use the X-H2S with the 16-55, I don't know, it would struggle. And it's basically like a little bit more than half of the weight that it can in theory support. Yeah, and that's kind of it. Oh, honorable mention, this is the DT Mic 4 Duo. I got this a few years ago when vlogging was still a thing and people would, use shotgun mics to vlog. and you know, it was, wireless microphones weren't a thing. But I still use it, and nowadays I would just use it like this, place it in front of me, plug this into the wireless Go 2 or into the DJI Mic 2, and then use it. You know, it looks cool. It just looks cool, you know, the fluffy thing and everything. It just looks pretty damn cool. So I will bring it as a backup whenever I work with clients, just in case, I don't know, maybe the microphones are dead, the battery is dead, or they don't work or anything like that. Having a shotgun mic that doesn't require any battery is just, you know, life-saving sometimes. You don't have to worry about anything. Plug it in and it works. I'm done. That's it. I've linked all my gear in the description. It's affiliate Amazon links. Check that out. You know, grab something from there. And yeah, that's it. See you in the next one.